Nearly 50 years of cooperation, two dramatic breaks, and a legacy that helped shape Jamaica's healthcare system. So here is the question. Is this truly the end of the Cuban-Jamaican medical partnership? Or is it simply the beginning of a new chapter, where cooperation happens at the level of individual doctors instead of governments? One thing is certain. The story between Jamaica and Cuba is far from over. What do you think? Leave a comment and share your perspective. And if you enjoy videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story. Stay curious. What's up? Today we are diving into a story that began almost 50 years ago. A story about two Caribbean neighbors, Jamaica and Cuba. On the surface, it looks like a story about medicine, doctors, hospitals, eye surgeries. But underneath, it is really a story about ideology, politics, and global power. And the ending surprised a lot of people. So buckle up. Our story begins in 1976. Jamaica's charismatic Prime Minister, Michael Manley, made a bold decision. Manley believed Jamaica needed a new path. He spoke often about democratic socialism, about independence, about building a self-reliant Caribbean. And to do that, he turned to Cuba. At the time, Cuba was led by revolutionary leader Fidel Castro. The two leaders developed a close political relationship, but there was also a practical reason behind the partnership. Jamaica had a serious problem. There were simply not enough doctors. Hospitals were stretched thin, and in many rural communities, medical care was hard to find. Manley believed Cuba had part of the answer. Cuba had built one of the most extensive medical training systems in the developing world. So an agreement was made, and soon, Cuban doctors, nurses, and medical specialists began arriving in Jamaica. They worked in hospitals, they staffed rural clinics, and they brought healthcare to communities that had been underserved for years. For thousands of Jamaicans, it meant seeing a doctor for the first time in a very long time. But history rarely moves in a straight line. In 1980, Jamaica elected a new government, and with that change came a shift in foreign policy. Relations with Cuba cooled, and the medical partnership was brought to an end. For a while, the collaboration disappeared, but not forever, because in 1989, the People's National Party returned to power. Diplomatic ties with Cuba were restored, and the medical partnership came back, this time stronger than before. Then came a major expansion. In 2005, Jamaica and Cuba launched a program called Operation Miracle. The focus was specialized eye care. An ophthalmology center was established at St. Joseph's Hospital in Kingston. The goal was simple: restore sight. Thousands of Jamaicans suffering from cataracts and other eye conditions received life-changing surgeries. For some patients, it meant seeing their children clearly again. For others, it meant returning to work, or simply navigating daily life without darkness. Over time, the program became one of the most visible examples of Jamaica and Cuba working together. For the next 2 decades, the partnership continued. Different governments came and went, but the cooperation remained. Both major political parties in Jamaica saw its value, especially when it came to specialized services and maintaining complex medical equipment. Slowly but surely, the Cuban medical program became woven into Jamaica's healthcare system. Then came a surprise. Fast forward to March 2026. Just when the program seemed permanent, it suddenly ended. The Jamaican government and the Cuban government failed to reach a new agreement. And after decades of cooperation, the program was officially terminated. So what happens now? In the short term, the Cuban Medical Brigade is withdrawing. About 277 medical professionals will leave Jamaica. That creates an immediate challenge. Hospitals must now fill those positions, especially in rural areas and in specialized fields. But this moment is not identical to the break decades ago. This time, the Jamaican government says the issue is mainly legal and financial, not purely ideological. Officials have also offered Cuban doctors the chance to remain in Jamaica if they sign individual employment contracts, and this could become a turning point. For years, many experts have argued that Jamaica should invest even more heavily in training its own doctors. strengthening local medical schools, expanding hospital capacity, and reducing long-term dependence on foreign assistance. The end of the program could accelerate that process. But there is another layer to the story: geopolitics. Cuba has suggested that the termination may have been influenced by pressure from the United States. If that is true, it could signal shifting alliances in the Caribbean region. And that brings us to today. Nearly 50 years of cooperation, two dramatic breaks, and a legacy that helped shape Jamaica's healthcare system. So here is the question: is this truly the end of the Cuban-Jamaican medical partnership? Or is it simply the beginning of a new chapter, where cooperation happens at the level of individual doctors instead of governments? One thing is certain: the story between Jamaica and Cuba is far from over. What do you think? Leave a comment and share your perspective. And if you enjoy videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story. Until next time, stay curious.